Structures, bot tower first. I'm on Jakuk. Structures. KDA, play for KDA. GG, you guys. Fucking good game. Let's go.
I mean, it's self-explanatory. Red always finds a way to knock me out of playoffs, whether that be subbing in for a team this year.
Oh my, the fight gonna break out, though. Ornhorn comes across, but it's a huge root coming down as well from Firemana. Gonna be kept alive, but Amid! Oh my goodness, Amid going sicko mode in the backline. It's a triple kill picked up by the Tristana. It's 4 for Amid.
Bree's a really good player. You know, there's a lot of jokes, you know, there's the Nami meme, and then obviously, you know, I've been really pushing the Red knocks Riri out of playoffs agenda. It's a little bit of mental warfare and a little bit of just poking fun.
BBZ's bot lane is way more aggressive than ours. We usually kind of like relax and play for wave priority rather than fighting, which is typically what they do. Besides, they played playoffs and they played a lot of wave priority champions. But I think overall, we're stronger than them overall.
Overall, we're probably one of the better bot lanes in terms of laning phase. Just looking at our last series with Fat Pikachu, we had a rough game 1 and game 2, and then game 3, we ended up with a lead instead of the previous 2 games. And then even going back to the last time I met Music Boy and Riri in the bot lane, you know, I was super fed on Callista. Jake was just popping off and getting me all these free kills.
Dax coming in, he knows that there's priority on this. Amid right now decides to send 4 members down here. That's a nice gun from Firemana to get 2 and 2 members.
It's not going to be enough as Music Boy turns it back around. Hook over the wall by Jacob Dudar will sequester Music Boy away from the rest of the team, but Dax taking so much damage. Champion Red trying to dish out the damage. Got to be able to pull the spears back. Takes down Crims as well. And Champion Red is still alive in the front line. It's a double kill picked up by the Callista. Better keep that name in mind.
Yuzu decide to return for this fight. Again, another Dax call. Riri in Amid already super low. Firemana does decide to chase 2 of them. Crims immediately.
I think BBZ is one of the strongest mid-game teams in the league, and we just had to find a way, either get a super big lead in the early game and have it and not lose it, or just find a way to stop losing the mid game. This is your last year, Red. It's FOS last year. Please do not deny me.
Honestly, Yanni, I love the way that Ariri says, "Please do not deny me," right at the end. Sounds like something a protagonist
like an anime
would
character.
say.
Yeah,
sounds like an anime character. And honestly, I've met Ariri in person. Kind of as an anime character. As we come back into this series, game number 3, Art of War Esports versus Blue Bayou Zoo. Side swapping this time around. Blue Bayou Zoo gonna have to take a little bit of an adventure to the Red Bayou Zoo in this situation. The Red region zoo, potentially?
You're seeing a couple of picks get locked in here, so we've already come in with a lot of bans. It's honestly much of the same. You could just ignore the bans. And, you know, Sivir obviously going to be the Blue Bayou Zoo pick. Was there any doubt? But seeing a Jarvan on the side, as well as a Maokai Varus, these are way different picks than we saw in games 1 and 2, Adam.
Yeah, it's a very different look as Jace now hovered. This is Poke of War Esports right here, and I don't mind it, because especially after the last couple of games where it was very similar comps and they sort of ended up nullifying out with, you know, they won one, they lost one in that situation. They're looking for something different, and I like to see this coming through, because Jace is a very high prio mid laner right now. Didn't really receive any changes on this patch 13-16 as opposed to the last patch where everyone's playing playoffs on. It's still a very strong champion and can just do so much, especially into the likes of Sivir, who likes to play from a distance. If you can catch her with that poke, it's so much more potent.
Yeah, and, you know, it doesn't matter how strong or how weak Jace is. You put him in a poke composition because he is going to perform. Now, Jaffe is going to get that Rumble once again, and now they're going to pair it up with an Amumu as well. So this is really, really scary. I like what Art of War Esports was doing, but they allowed a Blue Bayou Zoo to have champions in the disposal, in the arsenal, to be able to hard engage on this poke composition. How do you beat them? You engage on them before you can whittle them down. That's exactly what Blue Bayou Zoo wants to be doing.
Baba Boo Bayou
Baba
Zoo.
Bluey Zoo.
There we go. But of course, what's the answer to come through? This would be excellent into the Amumu specifically. You just kick a big old soccer ball in his face, and now he's even crying because he's gone. Yeah, or you all. You know, you literally have the anti-Amumu ult in that
Or you just pick
situation.
Olaf too.
There's another option. There's so many different answers for this. My biggest concern, though, with the team comp that Art of War Esports have teed up for us thus far, where's the magic damage?
Maokai? He's got to go full damage Maokai, right? Or he's going to have to index... Yeah, or he's going to have to index into at least one of these magic damage dealing items, which means he's going to not be as tanky as you'd like him to be. And yeah, you're right. It could be a magic damage Varus, but if Neferi lock in here for the mid lane, I mean, this is a really short range composition coming out from the Blue Bayou Zoo, and that is a little scary going into a poke comp. I have some concerns.
Yeah, this is a very interesting draft. It's one of the drafts of all time. I mean, one side, you have Maokai as your main magic damage dealer outside of potentially AP Varus, which, once again, it doesn't really... It does more damage if you build AP, but it just does a whole bunch of damage. It could be an option if Music Boy wants to go for that. On the opposite side, Neferi going into this poke comp, like, you have to go right at the beginning of these fights, and you have to act as sort of secondary follow-up behind the Amumu Jarvan. They need to find every single engage early on into these fights. If they miss a bandage toss or a flag and drag doesn't quite land where you want it to, you're kind of in trouble if you're BBZ.
Yeah. Now, BBZ can get the jump on Art of War Esports. Make no mistake.
Yes.
It is still possible, but this Maokai ultimate, by the way, is just going to be the biggest factor in this game. Blue Bayou starts to engage, and Maokai immediately recognizes this and ults. Blue Bayou is going to have a really hard time following up. It's really just going to be the Rumble ultimate that's going to deal any sort of real damage.
Yeah, and my major concern for Art of War on this side is it seems like the most obscure thing to be looking for. A mid needs to use his acceleration gate properly. He can't be throwing that out there just for poke and everything in those situations. You need to save that in a lot of ways to make sure you can back off the engage as well. I want to see if a mid has the sauce to be able to do so, because there is so much skill expression that you have in this poke comp versus the press R win comp on the side of Blue Bayou Zoo. Granted, that plays into their strengths as a mid-game team. They want to scrap. They want to fight. Just depends on how they do it.
Yeah, and you know, a mid, very skilled player based off of the first two games. A lot of individual skill expression. A real peacock of a player, to be honest with you. Really goes out there and struts his stuff. I know you've had some run-ins with peacocks in your day, so you understand they like to strut around and really show you that they're around, and that's what Amid's been doing. He's looking to do it once again here as the only player with teleport on his team.
Yeah, this is interesting to see the adaptation of Amid opting for this teleport and Trollsing going for the ghost once again, saying, hey, listen, I need to win this lane as hard as I can. And the main thing about last time around Darius versus the Rumble was that the Rumble was just able to play at arm's length for so long. Trollsing can ignore what Rumble puts out at level 6 and just run right at him. You don't have to worry about the tasers. You can just find all of your damage that way. And the Ragnarok can find so much value in that sense as well. I am most curious about Fire Mana on this Neferi. Has been playing it a lot recently from what I've seen in op.gg. It's a very strong champion. Did get heavily nerfed on the last patch, I believe, so we'll have to see how that turns out.
You can see the team's getting ready to set up here. Is Blue Bayou Zoo on the red side, starting the blue buff somehow with Champion Red on their team. Yeah, this is a lot of colors going on here that are not matching up here. Champion Red, obviously. We all know who Champion Red is, and if you don't know, you should. Do yourself a favor and play some Pokemon.
Yeah, come on. Get with the times. The times of... when did Gold Silver come out?
Stop. I don't want to talk about it. I'm old, Adam, all right? I'm old.
Listen, I'm as old as that game, too.
Adam, you're older. You're not... I'm sorry. You're much younger than me.
Yeah, I'm not like a baby though.
No.
There's some years in the age column for me.
Yeah,
I remember there we go. Like my first games were Fire Red, so it still goes back quite a ways. I remember owning a Game Boy Advance.
That's oh my god, dude. That's Generation 3, man. We're waiting to see who's gonna hit level 2 first here. It looks like it's gonna go to the side of AWE, but Jacob Duder wants to be the first one to engage and takes a little bit of damage out there first trouble. You can see Crims on the bottom side here was hovering around Tri-Brush. Perhaps Jacob Duder is going to go for a second engagement here, but Maokai just moving all the way up toward mid.
Yeah, just gonna say, nah, don't want to deal with that. And Dax does have the upper hand in terms of the clear speed right now. Crims should be able to catch up. It's Maokai. Honestly, Maokai can be down 40 CS and it doesn't matter because you're still Maokai. You press R and you do your job. Just get to level 6 at a reasonable time. Find some level of impact across the early phases if you can, and just play it safe at this point. In a lot of ways, I look at this comp from AWE, and it's a level 6 comp. Everything that they want to do is predicated on level 6, outside of if Maokai can find an opportunistic gank. Of note, Crims has first strike. So the AP Maokai build may not be too far out of the realm of possibility.
Well, he's certainly going to be banking once some traps are triggered here, but really interesting thing I noticed that Trollsing you went to go ward there. It means that Dax is level 3 and hasn't gotten a gank off yet. Seeing Jarvan not gank this late into a game, it's 3:30 right now. You expect Jarvan to be somewhere, create some sort of pressure, but nothing done so far. So really, Art of War, pretty happy with this development because this feels like one of those games where you don't really want to scrap too much in the early game. Let your poke comp farm up and develop.
Yeah, Dax went for a full clear as opposed to the Jarvan full clear, which is red, mid, bot, top, scuttle crab, bot, top, just throw lanes in there as part of your clear at that point. Crims went for the normal full clear as a Maokai does, just the farming up. The tree needs to get its food. We'll be eating as such. Something a little bit strange here is Dax is missing a CS from somewhere, so might not have gotten the full experience from one of those camps, and the camp isn't up.
Oops.
I think Dax just forgot to take some of the little boys on the rocks.
Yeah, he might have. And you know what? Sometimes you just got to get where you're going, honestly.
Yeah.
Just wanting to get in there. It looks like he's doing a pretty good job of playing outside of vision here. Shafi has an idea that something's going on. Krim's just absolutely whiffing everything. No engagement there. Level up there for
Dax flashed.
Shafi yeah, Dax, I was just about to say, he flashed for that one. So he will get the flash out of the Jace there. So making his impact known here around the 4.5 minute mark. And it looks like he's looking for a regank.
Yeah, I think Amid is just trying to clear this wave back right off afterwards. Major thing about Nefiri into Jace specifically is the little guys, the homies that come around with Nefiri can block up the damage from that accelerated shock blast. Oh, first blood for Jaffe, and he's going to live.
Yeah, and we're going to go take a look at that right now. As Jaffe, no combat summoners here, Trollsing you, no ghosts
minion
available.
wave.
But yeah, that minion wave doing so much there. And then he goes into overheat, and it's just barely enough, flashing the mastery, getting the job done, and a dragon as well for BBZ, because they've got such priority in these lanes right now. And this is an early game dominated by BBZ, which it's still very early, but it's something that we haven't seen out of them the first 2 games.
Yeah, and the domination goes by getting that mid-sum, getting first blood and everything, but we'll have to see if they can continue to push off of that. Of note, Firemana has both sums available. Once you get level 6 on the Nefiri, you bring the pack out, you start going down to that bot side of the map, looking for your plays from there. And Amumu still has very good pre-6 gank setup. If Nefiri's able to capitalize on that, that is where I want to see the action happen. Granted, Red once again on the Sivir. This time went for the area again, knowing that they need to do that extra little bit of damage in lane. I'm more so worried about the reliance on the Sivir. At a certain point, the Sivir will get figured out, as it did last game in a lot of ways. Do we worry about that at a certain point, Yanni?
I mean, there's just a lot that you don't get when you pick Sivir, right? Like, you are getting a wave clear bot. You're getting a wave clear bot. You're getting the ability to, speed yourself up.
Oh.
In a lot of situations, Jacob Duder is going to go in the middle of 3 members, but here comes Dax, double knock up there. Jacob Duder going to go back in. He's going to fall, but Champion Red able to deal enough damage that a kill is secured, but he's so low. He wants to get back in there. It's Music Boy versus Dax, but Dax is going to take advantage there. Oriri has to kick him away, so it's 2 more for BBZ.
Yeah, I think major issue there is just not enough CDR on Oriri at this point in the game. Just has that relic shield, just has the boots, not really anything to fight back with, and that ends up sort of biting them in the rear there. Music Boy fired one of those arrows towards Dax that could have landed onto Red, potentially turn that back around. It's minuscule things, but in a series that has been as back and forth as this one, you need to find every single advantage you can get, and thus far, BBC, while they have that kill lead for the time being, the gold lead not really amounting to much because the CS is pretty even across the board.
Yeah, and one of the things to point out there is that Music Boy has cleanse for fear of the Amumu ultimate, but that's not going to help you against literally anybody else. unless you are cleansing a Jarvan knockup so you can flash. So not getting value out of that secondary summoner spell is the reason why BBZ was able to win that bottom fight.
Yeah, I mean, you got heal, you have ghost, you have literally anything else, and Music Boy gets 2 there and potentially just walks away, and it ends up being a 2-for-1 in favor of Art of War. Instead, it's a 1-for-2 the opposite way. Jacob, Dudar, Dax end up being the main beneficiaries. There we go. Correct use of the word number 2. We'll chalk it up in there. We're starting to cast their scores at this point. Jacob, Dudar, yeah.
Hey, listen, if you're keeping score, I don't know who's got a higher score between me or you. A lifetime, but that's probably best for the best that we don't keep score.
You know what? I think for us, at a certain point, we realized that we were using Benefactor too much, and we're like, okay, yeah, we gotta switch that up.
Hold on.
Oh no!
No. I paid attention in English class in high school.
I was too busy taking French classes. I'll be real.
Well, damn Canadians.
Yeah.
Crims. We're going to see Crims take care of the Rift Herald here. So, AWE is going to get something here, but it's been an unusually quiet game. Game 3, after evening up the series in dramatic fashion. Didn't really expect them to come out as flat as they have, but we'll see if they're able to make any plays happen off this Rift Herald. It is very surprising that Crims, with all of the ability to gank in your pocket, hasn't really done much of anything.
I think Crims is just sort of playing for the later stages of this game as well. Specifically now that they're level 6 now. You know what? That's the later stage of the game for Maokai. Maokai is a level 6 bot. You got level 6. Now do something with it at this point. Once again, with this first strike, it leads itself into potentially Demonic Embrace first item, which isn't bad. But what happens after that? Because you're still missing so much magic damage that you can potentially dish out. The on-hit AP build isn't bad.
That was just funny.
Yeah, they're going back and forth.
Dax on board.
Oh, okay.
How much first strike gold has Crims gotten? Because
that's my question.
Yeah, we haven't seen really much of anything coming out there from the saplings. Like, he's not putting saplings in positions. Now, right there he is, but unfortunately
0.
Yeah, Dax was just there. Yeah, 0, nothing, nada, zip, noodle. Like, that is not what you want when you go pick your keystone.
You got to get some sort of value out of it. And on the flip side, we can probably look at Fire Manas, and there's at least 100, I would say, in there. Amid says, nope to Dax. See you later. That's the entire play. Wow.
Yeah, and Rift Herald, not quite. It looks like we're very close there. I think the second play did go down, but nobody got it. So, not the Rift Herald that you want to see. And now they're going to engage onto a mid here who is going to be in a little bit of trouble. They're going to drop all the ultimates they got. He's going to flash away, but Jacob Duder is going to clean it up. And it's all BBZ in this early game.
They've been able to control their levels well as well. Major thing to note is Crims, level 6, has that ultimate, doesn't use it. Jacob Dudar showed up to mid lane, 1 minion off of 6, and uses ultimate right away. That's what you want to do with those big, impactful ultimates, is make use of them as soon as you can. Try and catch someone off guard, and that's exactly what happens. Thus far, it's been such a slow early game coming through from AWE. It feels almost too sterile at this point, where they feel like they're avoiding mistakes that they can't even make because they're not doing anything. So it just ends up being a slow burn coming through from BBZ, who, once again, they're setting themselves up for such an excellent mid game here. These team fights are going to be so brutal to deal with AWE unless they start to pick up the pace a little bit and find some goal onto some of these key members.
Yeah, this composition just doesn't feel like them, to be honest. They look very uncomfortable here. They haven't tried to fight over any of these objectives at all, right? And that's where you really thrive. So at least getting some poke out there or something, but they're going to just try to claim all the gold that they can. But eventually you're going to hit a point where you need to make something happen because you already have given up 2 dragons. And with the fact that it is Mountain Drake, could be problematic as Crims has to flash away there too. It just, AWE is being chased away and is running scared.
Yeah, it all boils down to the fact that the early game that we expected out of Crims hasn't come to be. I mean, Flash now invested once again. Music Boy's potentially looking for a fight here. Red, nice sidestep. One could say that was fleet of foot for Champion Red to dodge that one out, but
they have Airy. Although Jacob Duder unable to hit the first bandage toss. Do they have a second one follow up? No, he's going to get caught and immediately blown up. The pick comp is there. Firemana into the thick of things. Music Boy very low, and they will fall. They do so much damage, and on the backside, the Jace is going to go down as well. It's 2 more for BBZ. Ends up being a 2 for 2 overall, because up in the top side, they took down the Rumble.
Yeah, Trollsing just able to collect that one up. We'll get a quick replay. Oh, we're going all the way back for this one. Yeah, Crims finally shows up, and this is exactly what you wanted.
Yo, first strike! First strike!
Yeah.
They put a bow on it. Nothing really to say there. You knew what was happening once that play started occurring. And really good stuff there, by the way, from Dax and Champion Red, just to make sure that a mid has been shut down. And a mid right now finished the call, building that tier, but has no completed item. Actually, just as I say that, now completing the Eclipse. Really wish they would have had that for the last fight, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's the major thing, is that despite a mid, farming up well and everything, you get caught out at the wrong points, I think. And especially roaming down this river, you expect to have the advantage, but all of a sudden an extra member shows up and you get caught with a huge wad of gold in your pocket. I feel like that's been a trend for a mid in this game as well. A couple of times that they've died, it's been, 1,500, 1,600 gold building up in their pocket and just not spending it at the right times. It can end up being a little bit of a punishment, because now Firemana, who has that first strike, so making up a little bit of the gold, is basically dead even in terms of items. You've got the cull, you've got the tier. They aren't really offering you anything for a mid. They're offering you very little in terms of combat stats at the very least. So you're basically dead even with the Nefiri at this point.
Yeah, and that means that if Nefiri is able to really tip the scales at this point, you can really run away with the game if you're Blue Bayou Zoo. Surprisingly, only about 1,000 gold lead for them right now. I would have expected it to be a little bit better. Their early games don't seem to be nearly as robust as Art of War Esports, but they're still pretty solid. I mean, Champion Red is constantly getting gold by just having really solid CS numbers, right? And that is where a lot of your gold has been lying in these games. So I think that the Silverpeg actually has just been really good because of that. Just allowed them to stay afloat in gold and know that your Silver will always be relevant.
Yeah, and I think that could be what they're going for. If they're going to play this weak side bot lane over and over again, just put Red on Silver, because you press R, you get assists, you get money out of pressing your R if you get a kill off at the back end of it, and you just end up being relevant later on into the game. Once again, because of the build of this Maokai as well, look at the build that Red is going for. Duskblade second item, doesn't need that Black Cleaver to shred. Should have been good to go, but top side.
Well, it doesn't matter if you're CC immune, because you will get stuck all the same. Trollsing is burning away, but still alive there. A mid is just brazenly in there, unable to deal any damage back, and used his teleport, took a lot of damage. Is gonna have to back or try to stay and keep this turret upright. Looks like he's gonna move over. Maybe gonna try to deal some damage as Crims is here. Riri here as well. Shock Blast, not dealing as much damage as you'd like, but because they're getting chased away, perhaps a Rift Herald angle. The health bars are relatively healthy, safe for Firemana, who has no teleport available. But they're gonna move away from that objective for now.
Yeah, and it's 5 into this mid lane now. They leave Music Boy on the bottom side, say, yeah, go ahead, take what you will, but it's just to rotate members around, threaten these objectives. That's a great part about what BBZ are doing. They're constantly putting threats around the map. That play on the top side, you force the flash out of Trolls and you force the ult out. You get a teleport out of a mid as well. Now you start to move everyone back down to this bottom side. You threaten Music Boy, who can't do any damage to that turret now and might just miss out on a whole wave. And after this, consistently moving around your chess pieces to find as many plays as possible is what they're going for. A mid, this is not good for Crims either.
Oh, this is not good for the mid laner either. He's going to get flashed on and ulted. He will be able to walk away. It's a 1-0 for now. But critically, your jungler down, and Soul Point on the horizon here at 16 minutes for Blue Bayou Zoo. But they did expend at least that Amumu ultimate for now. Is going to be able to dodge out that Shock Blast. Rumble now making their way down. AWE, I think they're worried that they need to go make this happen, but they're going to just back all the way off of it. Looks like it's going to be a BBZ securing this dragon, although maybe a cheeky little steal coming in, not quite.
Yeah, you've got so many tools to potentially steal that, but as much as Music Boy wishes they were Gumayushi, not quite yet. Maybe later on into this game, they'll be able to find that damage. Jacob Dudar, this is so threatening. Oh, Music Boy, this is trouble.
There's everybody down here. Dax right on top of him. Jaffe, another fantastic Rumble ult. This man keeps getting this champion. Oriri falls next. And Blue Bayou Zoo, doesn't matter if they're on the blue side or the red side, they know how to win games.
Yeah, they can be on the blue side and they'll still spill the red blood all over the rift. Oh my goodness. I was going somewhere else with that.
You tried.
BBZ 9-3 right now. Hopefully we're not playing Valorant in this situation because that can be seen as a curse. Mid is just pushing down mid though. Has been left all alone here. Finally, Jacob Dudar is going to come to answer the beck and call, as will Firemana. Interesting map plays once again, but BBZ up 3 dragons to 0. This is what I'm looking for. Last time around, in the game that they won, they didn't get a single early game dragon. This time around, they've controlled the early game, and now they're playing towards their mid-game style. A huge thing to point out is the fact that their team fights are ridiculous. Jarvan ult, Amumu ult, Rumble ult, you toss Sivir running around throwing all that damage out there, you toss around Nefiri potentially being that sort of cleanup crew. When you are ahead on this comp, it is so oppressive.
Yeah, we talked about how it would be on BBZ to get the engages before Art of War Esports is able to land the poke, but I mean, no poke has occurred, Adam. Like, this is a poke composition that doesn't poke. I don't know what is going on with Art of War Esports in this game. It feels like they feel so uncomfortable, like I mentioned earlier. If you told me this is the first time they tried a poke composition, I'd believe you.
It just feels as if they're so lost. And I mean, Crims as well just hasn't had any impact. Oh my goodness, Nefiri!
Yeah, there's just so much damage in Crims. So run all the way back. That first strike not yielding you any gold here. I mean, you did get the Rift Herald, right? So that's really nice. Hopefully you can have a better Rift Herald than the one that you had prior, because that first Rift Herald didn't do much of anything for you. You know, you got 1 plate out of it. You didn't even get the second plate. Now, multiple members staring down this top turret. I mean, it's time for BBZ to start knocking down these turrets and expanding this gold lead.
Yeah, and it's time for AWE to start. It feels as if they haven't played the game yet. They've just been constantly playing reactive, and I think that's a major factor as to why it feels as if they're so far behind. One thing to note, though, Music Boy is going for this static shiv into Nashor's, very likely into Guinsoo's later, so it will be on hit. That will provide a decent amount of magic damage, so you don't need to worry too much about itemization in the future, because you will have magic damage coming through. It's more so just, will they get to that point? I don't know if they will, and Trollsing is in so much trouble now.
Oh, he's going to turn on Champion Red, though. But again, stuck in a box right now. He does get taken down. Does go 1 for 1, so not all bad there. But they will be able to get the turret. They're going to avoid everything that Music Boy has to throw at him. And yeah, you mentioned it. Fireman is here right on top of Music Boy. And the damage is just too much for them to handle. Give a double kill over to Nefiri. The whole pack eats tonight.
Yeah, it just felt as if AW were barking up the wrong tree. They weren't in position to really contest that. They thought they had a nice little pinch going, but ends up being them who pay the price. And Fireman has found so much extra value coming through.
I'm sorry.
BBC are running away with it.
That was so funny. Barking up the wrong tree. This is because not only do they have the dog, but they do have the tree, and
they have the whole zoo.
Yeah, they do have the whole zoo, but the dog has been pissing on the tree most of this match. Jaffe getting another kill here. That's gonna be on a mid. He's gonna have to burn his flash for it. But Adam, there's one phrase I haven't heard you say in a long time. What does AWE need to do to find a way back in this game?
They need to never back down, never what?
No, that's not the one, bro.
They gotta park the
bus. They gotta park the bus.
They gotta park the bus as well. This is what you get when you get Yanni United cast together. It's been a while. It has been a while.
It has been a very long time. I've missed.
They gotta park the bus. You know what? They gotta park more than just the bus. They gotta. Man,
they gotta shut the whole road down, man, because I don't even think a road closure is gonna stop BBZ at this point.
It's a police barricade time. They just gotta put everything in front of it, because it just feels as if they're getting
first strike.
Woo! How much?
Oh wait, no.
Oh,
he had a shield.
Sag.
That is super sad, but this dragon is about to spawn, and it might get real sad for AWE. Although Crims is going to drop that ultimate from the side. Fireman are very low. They do get shut down. It's Trollsing U's time to fight. Other side of the fight, it looks like the Amumu's going to fall. Jaffe's got no flash because he used it to kill on mid. It's a triple kill for Olaf. Somehow, some way, AWE win the fight. Bus has been parked.
What? I mean,
Dax
it's the
get the steal?
opposite. It's the opposite of parking the bus. It's they just go all in. They say, you know what? We're down 5K. It's the MLXD copy pasta. Where it's like, you know, they're down 5K. You gotta just go for a fight. They're down 10K.
They feel like they're at a great advantage and must take a fight.
Exactly.
They're down 10K. They feel that the game is even and they must take a fight. They're down 15K. They feel the game is hopeless and must take a fight. But guess what? They're picking the Baron too as well, Adam. They are not done, I don't think.
Yeah, I think they might just continue this on. While Dax is in the area, I think this is the sign for them to just back off. Teleport being invested by Jaffe
They
as
all
well.
have to back now.
Oh, man.
This means BBZ can just take the Baron.
What? The bus has been taken out
These
of park.
guys don't
It's in
understand
reverse.
tempo. These guys don't understand tempo. They have thrown the bus. They were driving the bus like
The bus is in the river.
You ever see that scene in Austin Powers where you're stuck in the hallway and he puts it in drive and he hits the wall and he puts it in reverse and he hits the wall, but Crims is in the thick of things, but he cannot secure it, and you know he's gonna go down for it, punished for the hubris of AWE as the Baron goes to BBZ.
What is going on? What's going on? BBZ end up throwing a huge fight around the dragon. AW get 4 kills. They get that dragon. And then they just sort of meander over to Baron and then all reset and then they lose Baron.
Hey, that's my Baron. Great. Now let him have it. You can have it. Tempo
whatever
kills,
is going
kids. Tempo kills.
This is why you gotta use temperature.
You know, yeah. The coaches really harp on tempo, and it's really a cursed word in a lot of circles at high-level plays. We're going to see a mid get engaged on here, and everybody is just going to take him out. The Olaf is CC immune, but he is not going after the right targets. Are they able to find a way out? There's a turret there still, but Trolls and you no longer CC immune. They are able to find another kill. So the rest of the BBC squad has to run scared, but Trolls and you still pushing forward, looking to land those axes to slow him down. But BBZ will live once again, although Fireman looking to come around this corner is not done yet. Sniffing out Oriri on the side, perhaps. He will get spotted out there by the blue trinket.
Oh, no, Red.
You're going to go all the way in as Crimson, very low, and you mentioned it, Red, super low as well. Able, once again, to walk out. They're just fighting over jungle camps at this point, Adam.
Yeah, it just feels as if Art of War are too scared to put in too much commitment into these fights, but they need to. I think the major factor in this game right now is Trollsing you. 5-2-1 on this Olaf. Olaf doesn't quite have the same level of Olaf syndrome that used to happen. If the game gets to 25 minutes, then Olaf is useless. Still has some agency in the later stages of this game. It's more so, can they play around the Olaf effectively? Because Trollsing got a triple kill on that last fight right around the dragon, is able to pick up another kill here, is starting to really snowball this lead up. It just depends on when they're going to be able to convert on a fight that leads to more. Because thus far, Art of War have just been... They feel lost around the map. It feels as if, we talk about tempo a little bit, it feels as if they're really cold. Their temperature is too low right now. They need to be heating up a little bit more, playing towards that. And
they're playing Shield League of Legends.
It is Shield League of Legends right now.
They really need to be playing Bow and Arrow League of Legends. As Trollsing you is in the middle of multiple members, has to burn his ultimate. You were wondering when the next fight was going to be. Well, you know for sure it'll be in about 2 minutes because this dragon is going to come up in 1:40. You can see everybody on the side of BBZ trying to find a way in, and it is the Amumu who lands an ultimate on 3 people. Music Boy did burn the cleanse, but he gets ripped apart. The Nefiris damage the Demon Dog. Inuyasha is in the house. And they wipe out AWE. Adam, game 3 is over.
Yeah, Art of War Esports, they thought they were the cat's pajamas, but instead they're in the doghouse. This Nefiri has been massive in like 2 fights. That's all that it needed to be massive in. And now this game gonna be firmly handed over to BBZ. Game 4 on the horizon. BBZ on match point. Red said, Oriri, you can have 1 game this time around. The curse may continue to live on for Oriri. It may live forever. BBZ win game 3.
I must say, BBZ with a really clean game. You know, it was that one dragon fight was really the one misstep that they had. But otherwise, super clean, right? And I mean, you know, they had to answer for the Olaf in that fight, and for some reason, Art of War just couldn't say, hey, we'll just wait for the next dragon fight and try to do it again. Because, well, they had all the CC. The only thing that could really stop the Olaf was the Jarvan ultimate. And Jarvan was really worth a lot that game, too. You can see he didn't even die once. So It would have been a really good target to take down, but we will never get to see that. And now backs against the wall here for Art of War, Adam.
Yeah, it's been very strong gameplay coming through from BBZ, playing around the Sivir really well. I start to question if Art of War just ban Sivir and say, show us something else. Because it's been 3 games of Sivir. Red has had one sort of stinker game there in game number 2 where he wasn't able to have impact. But each and every time, they're just able to play this mid-game comp that wants to team fight. They press R on Sivir. They just run at them. That is all they've needed to do in a lot of these comps. And that's where I start to wonder about what their next steps are. Because Art of War, their backs are up against the wall. They have to find something. They need to go from parking the bus this game to driving the bus, because thus far they have been absolutely solved.
They've just been a passenger on this bus ride. They just need to they got to take the wheel, and they might only have one chance left to do it. I think putting a mid on a more proactive mid laner could be the answer, Adam. I don't know what you would think about that, but really, you got to scrap the whole composition, go back to what won you game 2, because it was pretty damn good.
You got to go back to the drawing board. You got to go to the whiteboard. They don't have... Do they have this like Valo plan, where you just start drawing up strats in the middle?
Oh,
That's
yeah,
what you
Rift
might have
Kit.
to do with that
Rift
one.
Kit.
Yeah, Rift Kit. You got to go to Rift Kit. You got to start drawing up some stuff. Makes the turkey strats or whatever you so desire. Make something crazy up. Art of War Esports need to show everything here. They are not going to be given a chance to save strats for finals. That doesn't exist against Red. Red is your gatekeeper, and he will continue to stand there. Of course, shout out to Logitech G, Adobe Creative Cloud, and Academy of Art University for helping run this. We're going to head to a break. Game 4 on the horizon. BBZ on match point.